The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
Hello,
Hey,
and welcome to About Town. Today, I have Ian Locke with me. Hello, Ian. How are you?
hi. Thanks for having me in. Just before we went on the air, this is the first time I've ever been on this side of the glass.
And I do feel very honored to be the one who's interviewing you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me in.
Absolutely. So, Ian, what do you do here at ONTV?
Everything. Well, well, my title here is executive director.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm in charge of everything, making sure everything's running from technology to the programs, managing the staff, and so on. But I've pretty much held every job here at ONTV before I became executive director, from teaching classes to production, the whole bit.
So, what was your first job here?
First job here at ONTV, I came in '09. I mean, a lot of people changed jobs back then. You know, the Great Recession hit. Prior to coming here, I was with the Waterford Schools for 11 years in their video department
Okay.
and community media. So coming here in '09, I started out as the education coordinator. So I worked with students for years, for 10 years in Waterford. We had an advanced internship program, so it translated perfectly to ONTV. And I taught all the classes, production classes, studio classes, all that good stuff to start out.
Yes, and you were showing me how to do the soundboard a little bit more cool, but
Yeah.
it takes some muscle memory.
It does. It does. There's it's a rhythm. And once you get used to the rhythm, it's no big deal.
All right. Well, let's put a pin in that for 1 second and get back to where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? I grew up in Dexter, Michigan, which is was a farming community just outside Ann Arbor. It was a small town. I think my high school is about the size of is about a Class B. Back when they called them A, B, and C, we were Class B. I think my graduating class was 136. You know, not really big. We thought it was big until I went to Michigan State, and now I have 50,000.
I have to tell you, I'm a Michigan State graduate myself.
Fantastic. Go green.
Go white.
Absolutely.
I was there for 7 years, but I did do, it wasn't all the victory laps at the end. I did
Yes.
go on to more grad school. But
That's good.
yeah. So what did you major in at Michigan State?
Broadcast and media arts. So it was telecommunication, and I think that was the official telecommunication media arts, but it was television and radio production. So I've been lucky that I've been able to do this as a career. I'm trying to remember how many of my classmates I graduated with actually went into the field and
Mhm.
stayed in the field. There's not many.
Yeah, well,
But,
a lot of
it happens.
I feel like a lot of creatives come out of Michigan State. My mother was in marketing and advertising.
Oh, absolutely. Great program in advertising.
Yep, and I just knowing her friends and her work colleagues, I just feel like a lot of creative people came out of Michigan State during that time. So
Absolutely.
it's wonderful to hear that, or just verify that I'm correct.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I was in the marching band at Michigan State. I'll
Really?
just share that little tidbit. Yeah, I played the tuba.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's actually quite interesting. How long have you played the tuba for?
well, I started playing music in 5th grade, and I think in 7th grade I changed over to the tuba, and stuck through it through high school, and auditioned at MSU and made the marching band. And it was besides meeting my wife, and at MSU and getting married and all that stuff, that was probably one of the most wonderful experiences I had at MSU, and it still sticks with me today. It's amazing.
Did you do it for all 4 years?
I did, and by the 4th year, I was ready to say I'm done with this. I was a broken individual. Let's just say those things weigh about 60 pounds, and it's heavy, and it takes a toll.
So what made 7th grader Ian be like, you know what, I want to play the tuba?
Should I say bullying? So back then, it's like, it's a small band. I played the trumpet, started
Mhm.
out on the trumpet, and I really liked it. Music for me, I still play music today, and it's my stress reliever. I don't play the tuba for stress relief. I play the guitar. Um, but back then it was trumpet, and it was very competitive. So even in fifth and sixth grade, it's very competitive. So that's just the way the program is set up. So my goal was like, I want to be first chair. I want to be first chair. I want to be first chair. Practice real hard. And as soon as I got it, I'm like, yeah. And then my friends behind me, people I've grown up with all these years, are like, we want your chair. And I was like, I couldn't even enjoy it for a week. And it was this challenge, challenge, challenge. It made me a better player.
Mhm.
But then I'm like, I don't want to get picked on all the time, So I said, let me try something different. And they needed a tuba player. And I'm like, this looks kind of fun. And so I played it, and I was able to do it. And I was a small guy. I mean, I was not, I mean, the tuba was the size of me, right? So I could just reach the mouthpiece. And luckily, it stuck, and I really enjoyed it and excelled at it. So it was a lot of fun.
Great. No, I just imagine you carrying around that case. I played the
Oh,
violin, so it wasn't that big of a case.
my wife plays the violin,
Yeah.
so I
Uh,
love the violin.
yeah. Well, I found out I like the cello better, but
Ah,
I never played the cello. I would watch the little guys carrying their cello cases and talk about a big instrument,
mm-hmm.
and then you get the bass. Oh,
Yeah.
oof,
Yeah,
oof.
I don't know how those guys do
No.
it.
Okay, so you played marching band in the marching band at Michigan State for 4 years,
Yep.
and then what happened?
Well, I graduated. It took me 4.5, like a lot of people back then and now, that sort of thing. And um,
So you
I,
took half of it, a
yeah,
victory lap.
I graduated in December
Hmm.
of '94.
Okay.
So I still in '94 graduating. So four and some change. After that, my first job was in broadcasting at a PBS station down in Elkhart, Indiana, which sounds like it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's really just down the street from South Bend. So I started there in their as a master control operator, which is the engineering department. And basically, what I was, it sounds like wow, that's an impressive title, right? I was basically a radio DJ for TV. So instead of playing music, I played shows. So I sat at a console and I put the shows in and aired them and recorded them and made sure everything was going well. And at the end of the night, it's my kids still shake their head. They're going, so at the end of the night, when you were the night shift, you actually played the national anthem and then turned TV off. You remember those days where it gets to 1 in the morning, the national
Yeah.
anthem plays, and then TV goes away,
Well, I wasn't allowed to stay up that late, but I,
but it goes off the air, right?
yeah, you would turn on the TV at 2 a.m. and nothing would
There's
be on.
nothing
Yeah.
there, and that's what we did. Like, that was my shift. I was the new guy, so I was the night guy. So, that's what I did. I was there 1 full year and learned so much, and then, moved on to, the ABC affiliate in Lansing. I wanted to get back to Lansing. My wife is, at MSU to be a teacher, so she has a 5-year program,
Mhm.
and she was 1 year behind me.
Okay.
So trying to get back to East Lansing, or the Lansing area just to be with her and, try to get things, try to be adult and get your adult life started, right?
Well, that's why I went on to grad school because I wasn't ready to be an adult yet.
I thought about it, then I'm like, no, I'm done with school. I want to start working and doing something. So, but yeah, it was a fun time. It's a lot of learning. When you get once you get out of school and you're learning, and you think you know something, and you realize college teaches you how to learn and how to study and how to be disciplined.
If you do it right.
If you do it right, absolutely. And which I like to think I did it right. And but working in the environment that you are, the career actually looking to do, is that's where you learn how to do it. You got to be in the seat doing it. So I was fortunate enough to um, keep going.
So after you got back to Lansing,
Yeah.
uh, wife became a teacher.
Yep.
What
Yep.
did she teach?
She wanted to do middle school. That was kind of her focus, history, and English. And I believe she did 5th grade. And it was a Delton Kellogg, which is out. I'm holding up my hand for It was out on the west side, so she drove almost all the way to Grand Rapids for her first teaching gig.
Ooh.
So we were married. She's driving. We never saw each other. So I worked overnight shifts from just like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. or sometimes, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. overnight shifts. So I would be waking up to go to work, make dinner. She would be getting back from work, and we'd have dinner, and then I'd go to work, and she'd be at home. And it was just this odd schedule, but it worked out,
Uh-huh.
So yeah, she's a teacher, and ultimately went to grad school and became a librarian. So
Nice, nice.
yep.
Well, so how did you make your way to Lake Orion?
That's a good question. So, when we were looking to buy a house, and when my wife went to grad school at Wayne State for library science, and she was teaching in Romeo for her second teaching gig, and I picked up a job in Waterford. So I moved from broadcasting into school district over there, and all the things I've learned over the years in broadcasting, I was able to bring to the school district, and it was a great experience working with the crew over there and working with kids and the administration. It's if you've never worked in a school district, and especially if you like helping people and working with kids, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
So I loved it, and we said, well, where would we like to live? And we're trying to find a halfway point between Romeo and Waterford, right? And so one day we just started driving around, and we happened to find, I Lake Orion's there, and we just drove around. We're like, this is really nice. We couldn't afford to live on the lake or anything, but the housing was nice. This was 20 years ago. And so we found a house, and up on Mabee Road, and it was perfect for us. It was within our budget. Broadcasting guys don't make a lot of money. We do it because we love it. There's not a lot of dough in it. I'll just say that. But yeah, that's how we came to Lake Orion. Is we found a house, and the neighborhoods were fantastic, and we knew the schools were wonderful, and we said this will be a great community to raise a family. So that's how we came here to live in Lake Orion.
Just having a little bit of wanderlust, huh?
It was, yeah, it was. And in fact, the house that we purchased and we're still in today, we saw the for sale. We saw it online, and we ran out, and we're like, "Oh, this is really nice." And then we saw pending, like it was sold, and we're like, "Oh, that's a bummer." And we were living in Macomb, so we were driving. That's a long drive to
Mhm.
Waterford from Macomb. Um, and so when I got back, I think it was a couple months later, like 3 months later, we came out to the mall, Great Lakes Crossing, just to walk around, and our house is like 2.5 miles north of
That
Great
could be
Lakes
very
Crossing.
dangerous.
Oh, yes, it is. I thought that too when it was that close, because I'm not going to bring my wife into it, but yes, it can be very dangerous. But we said, hey, let's just drive by the house just to see, torture ourselves. And when we drove by, we saw this for sale sign again. So the sale fell through,
Okay.
and we already had a realtor. We got it. We said, oh, we got it. And we wanted the house, and we got it. So we couldn't be happier, and we're still in that house today.
Do you guys have kids?
I have two. Yeah. My oldest is Abby. She is 18 at Michigan State currently, studying political science. And James Madison. She wants to
I was
change.
a poli-sci major
Were you?
myself. Yes, I was.
No kidding. Were you in James Madison?
I was not, because I didn't get my act together until like junior year, halfway through.
Yeah, she wanted James Madison badly. And the current state of politics when she was just starting high school, it motivated her, and she loves history and English, so it fit right in, and it really kind of wanted her to do something and get engaged. So
That's fantastic. I was actually doing my poli-sci degree, and I had to do it pretty quickly my senior year, and it was during President Obama's first election. So I was in a campaigns and election class, and it was just so fascinating. So I'm really I kind of have some nostalgia here listening about your daughter, because she's gonna have so much fun learning about this stuff.
yes, and it's this.
What a time to be in this major, because that was like the trash can major. We don't have a general ed course at Michigan State.
Yes.
But I was a psych major and classical studies. I wanted to be a curator or
Oh
professor.
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't learn Latin at 20. I couldn't. But
Yeah.
so then I had to go into poli-sci because that was where I could get my honors courses and everything would, shuffle.
Translate.
And yeah. But yeah, I was glad I did it because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited for her. I mean, MSU. It's so difficult. We experienced college the right way, right?
Mhm.
We went there. We don't have a pandemic. We
Right.
live on campus. All the things that are available at a major university were available to us.
Mhm.
That's the thing that is disappointing, and we're hoping things turn around, obviously, so she can experience that. I mean,
Yeah.
she went in as a second semester freshman already because of AP courses
Yep.
and things. I got to hand it to the Lake Orion High School. Those teachers are phenomenal, and the AP instructors outstanding, and prepared her so well for college and the challenges of her program that I thanking them publicly. Just we've done it in person, but I just want to say fantastic.
And it's amazing how much those AP courses actually do help offset some of the cost of
Oh,
college and everything.
thousands and thousands of
Yes.
dollars. She'll be done probably a year early or pretty close, which is testament to her, not me. I didn't take the courses.
Well, no, congratulations to her.
Yeah,
Very excited.
And my son's just turned 15, so he's a freshman at the high school.
Okay.
And he's navigating the online situation, but he's doing pretty good. He's a good kid. And I have to and kudos to the schools for what they're doing with the online and in person. They're doing what they can,
Mhm.
and so far he's doing well and responding. The good thing is he has a good core group of buddies to run with. He's on the cross country team, as my daughter was, in track and that sort of thing. So getting outside and mingling with his friends is really kind of mitigating the whole cabin fever that
Yep.
we all experienced
Yep.
just 1 year ago when it started.
It was just me, my husband, and our 3 dogs. So yes, I get that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
well, congratulations. And I was on the cross country team in a high school as well. So I really, really advocate for the cross country. I think that makes you really mentally strong. If you can go and run 5K, you can mentally prepare for a good big exam.
Absolutely. My daughter loved running. She started with soccer, and so she's a runner, right? I'm not a runner. I was a swimmer. I like the water, but it's very similar. What you have to put in. The pain of running is different than the pain of swimming. The pain of running is worse, way worse. And I tried doing it. So my wife started running. She does half marathons and such. And I'm like, nah, man. My daughter's like, come on, try to get me healthy, right? Get me out, right?
Right.
So I've done the first 5K I ran. I was under 30 minutes, so I was happy with that. So it was like 29 something. And I always see people finishing those 5Ks and they're like hugging each other, going, oh, that's, they were just so ecstatic and a sense of accomplishment. I got done with my 5K. I'm like, this is not fun. I had no sense of accomplishment. I'm like, I'm dying. I go, this is horrible. This is not good. I felt awful. And I'm like, yeah, this might not be for me. But I don't mind running and jogging and trying to do some of that. But I go, 5K, it's so difficult. And you guys did it as a race.
Well,
and
you
it
have
was
to be
just
on the whole
insane.
time. You got to be on the whole time. No, that's why I started doing longer runs. And like your wife does the half marathon. It's like, you can run slower. Who's going to say anything to you? Because you're doing so many miles in a row.
That's true. I think that's my problem. I go too fast. Like, I get competitive, and I am in no shape to be competitive with anyone. But anyway, it's good. But running was brought to our family because of my wife and my daughter doing cross country. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to see her grow, and they qualified for state a couple years, so that was a super highlight. It was a bummer how it ended for her in school last year as a senior. But yeah, cross country, you guys, man, hats off to you guys. It's crazy. Yeah, you're made for it or you're not. I'll
Right.
just say that.
Well, this My body type was not. It was an uphill battle. Literally, we were known for hills.
Yes.
But okay.
It's
Well,
funny.
So let's get back to ONTV.
Yeah.
I'm actually on the village council.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
aboard.
Thank you. You better like me, or you got me for 4 years. No,
Fantastic.
I'm kidding. Jeez, I can take criticisms too. But so we all have to be. All the village council members are also on other boards,
Mhm.
and I'm on the OCCCC.
Yep. Cable Commission.
C.
No, you got it right.
Oh, I got it right.
There's
Okay.
four.
There's 4.
Even after 11 years, I'm still missing a C every once in a while.
So the
it
Cable
is-
Commission.
It's the Cable Commission, correct.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure.
And then we'll get into ONTV and how all of this stuff kind of works.
Yeah, all the broadcasts, the
Yes.
cameras, all this fun stuff. Yeah. So, the Cable Commission is an organization or a body that was formed about 30 years ago.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's when cable TV kind of started expanding and growing. I think it was about 88 or so. So at least here in Lake Orion, cable television's been around since the 70s in other parts, but Lake Orion came in the late 80s. So the Cable Commission is formed because for cable companies, let's say it's Comcast, that's who we have now,
Mhm.
for those providers to come into your community to offer their services for a fee, right? So you sign up for a subscription or you pay to have cable TV in your home. So for them to come into our community and use our public right-of-ways, our public areas to hang cable on our poles, the Cable Commission charges a fee. It's called a franchise fee.
Mhm.
And those fees collected by the Cable Commission can be used by the township in a number of ways. They can use it to help pay for police and fire. They can use it for parks and rec and a variety of other things. But in Lake Orion, it was kind of unique back in those days, is when they formed the Cable Commission and started collecting the franchise fees, the township board, who are, as you know, and the village council are members, and then we have volunteers or people on the commission that are from the community. They're just residents, right? So when that was formed and they started collecting the fees, they made a decision years ago that was wise, very wise for this community, is that they decided to take those franchise fees and apply them directly to community television. There's a handful of communities across the nation who decided to do that. Now, they don't take a portion of the franchise fees, they take all of them and put them towards community television. So what does that mean? That means ONTV can exist. So ONTV is an entity that is hired or contracted by the Cable Commission to manage and run these facilities and teach classes and so on. So yeah, over the last 30 years, ONTV had a variety of names, and it was run by the cable companies for a while. About 2000, it changed over to a nonprofit.
Okay.
When ONTV actually became a thing. We became a nonprofit, a 501c3 charity.
Okay.
So, so we've been around since 2000 as far as ONTV is concerned, but much longer for community television.
Gotcha.
And the commission has been there every step of the way, making sure the funds are collected, negotiating the contracts with the cable providers to make sure that, they're following the rules. And for franchise fees, and we have other things called PEG fees, which are capital funds. So PEG fees are also part of your bill. Now, I just want to express to anybody who has Comcast or AT&T Uverse, who is our other provider in town, that if you look at your bill and you see studio fee or franchise fee or PEG fee, that sort of thing, it's not a fee to you per se.
Okay.
It's a fee to the company.
Okay.
So 5%, roughly, well, let's say combined together, it's about just over 6%. 6% of all the profits that Comcast or AT&T Uverse collect in our community must go back to the community. So it's not necessarily a fee on you, but it's on Comcast.
Okay.
Okay?
And it just splits it up on the bill?
Yep, they split up on the bill. You see two of them. And PEG fees allow us to buy physical things. Cameras that we see here, microphones and the board and all these physical things, cameras and production gear. and we can only spend the PEG fees on those items.
Gotcha.
Okay, but the franchise fees go towards people, me and my staff, and help pay our bills and a variety of other things. So I know that's a long explanation, but it's important that people understand how it works.
Yeah,
And
I to be very honest, I had no idea about this before I got involved in the community more, opening a shop and whatnot.
yep,
But all of a sudden you see Joe Johnson out,
he's my
film,
studio manager.
yeah, filming, and or taking interviews, and
Yep.
you're like, oh, this is very good to have.
Yes. Yeah. So my background, like I mentioned earlier in the show, is broadcasting. Joe has been working in community television his entire career. I think he's working on, should I say it, 30 years, for 30 years. So
Somewhere around there.
he's been around a long time. He and I are the same generation. I started as an intern in public access. And so he and I we are the same guy moving through time and doing this. And we have a love of our community.
Mhm.
We have a love of free speech, and we have a love of teaching. And so, teaching people off the street or council members how to do this and communicate and share information with others is so much fun. But Joe is out there.
Yep.
And what I wanted to bring to ONTV, and we changed it up a little bit as I got to sit in the big chair, is as executive director, is we want to have news. We need local news because localized news is kind of going away. Our local newspaper is still here, the Review, which is fantastic. It's still here. And we work together with them. We have a great partnership, sharing information, working together, feeding stories, a variety of things. But it's one of those things that communication and news to our community is so important, especially local news. Channel 7 will come up here on occasion if it's bad news, right? We like to share the good news. What is the positive of Lake Orion? And it's from businesses coming into town. It's the schools, the successes of the students, graduations, sports and athletics. Also, it's easy. It's fun. We get to cheer on the Dragons. But also the local news of, hey, we're doing a tree lighting ceremony. There's some charities that need assistance, like Oxford Orion Fish,
Right.
A great partner of ours here at ONTV.
Yep. And I have been the recipient of many or interviews done by you guys for the shop. And when I was here to film my or record my campaign speech,
Yes.
that's when Joe was giving me and my husband was here too, giving us a little tour and came in here and it's like, this is the podcast room. And I was like, huh,
Mm-hmm.
how does this work? And
Yeah.
it was just in case anybody's interested, it was very easy. Called up, scheduled an appointment or, a lesson and did the lesson. And then I got to work here,
And
do all this stuff.
And we're here.
And now
right?
I'm here.
Having this conversation.
Right.
You are engaging the community with what you do on the board, sharing all the positives of what's around Lake Orion. So you're another voice here recording the history of Lake Orion or promoting what we do and all the good stuff that's happening around town. So you are now a part of the machine that is
part
on
of the
TV.
machine, but it's a good machine.
It's an absolutely wonderful machine and a positive machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right. A lot of, I would say 90%, I don't have, statistics and numbers and stuff behind me, but I would say like 90%, a vast majority of the news we see today in general is more on the negative side of things.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm so glad that we've had some positive stuff coming from you. Not some, a lot of positive stuff coming from you, especially during this time.
Yes. And it is negative.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in the newsrooms. There's a reason why I'm not in the newsrooms anymore, right? There's a reason why I'm working in a community center. And especially with COVID, getting accurate information from the source is so important. Our seniors during this time were locked in, right?
Mhm.
And there's a lot of fear, especially this time last year. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know this virus, how bad is it, what's going to happen. So there's a lot of fear and unknown.
Mm.
ONTV was still working. We were still working with the township and the village and the schools to make sure that information got out that was accurate, and it was hyper local. So it's if there's going to be a food pickup or resources here at the Orion Center, which we had.
Yep.
How do you get it? How can you come in and get it? And who needs assistance? So we promoted that. Supervisor Chris Barnett at Township was fantastic with daily video updates. He would give us updates. He'd record them on his phone, and he and I were in. I got a text from him every night. I said, "Is the video done?" He's like, "Got the video," and he would send it to me via email. I'd log in at night, download it, and we'd put it and we'd air it and share it all over the place, just so people knew what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
Because 2, 4, and 7 aren't coming up here. We have to make sure that the information in our community is shared accurately.
Correct.
And so, our seniors or those in need know where the resources are to get food, medicine, or even a ride from NODA, right? How do we share NODA? Get a ride to the grocery store, or we'll pick groceries up for you and take them to your house.
Yep.
So it was an interesting time, scary time, but it also showed the importance of centers like ours and why they are needed more than ever.
Well, and I don't get I know the township's different, but with the village council, it's nonpartisan. And I feel like that makes it, we can focus more on the community. I feel like ONTV, it's nonpartisan. It's looking out for what the community needs.
It's true. Yep. We serve all comers.
Yep.
It doesn't matter affiliation, anything. We are open for you to come and express yourself. If you have something you want to say, you can. And we don't edit content. That is not our purview. We do not do that at all. We just work on making sure it sounds okay and making sure the video looks good and making sure that, you're learning and you can put together a decent program to share your point of view, news, information, talents, whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you guys, you touched on this. You do a lot of marketing and supporting local charities and groups and fundraisers.
Yep.
Most recently, I did see the one on for Fish, or in Oxford Fish. What's one that's near and dear to your heart?
Oh, Fish. They're wonderful. Great organization. We work with so many, from churches to, drug prevention programs like the NOCC, NODA. We help promote their things. Anything, any charity comes to us locally or just outside our borders, we work with them because we are a nonprofit. And we have resources to help share their message. But Fish, for us, we've been working with them. This is 11 years. And it's a big deal for the staff. We call it our Super Bowl. And usually we have a 6-hour telethon on a Saturday, first Saturday in February. And it's grown to the point where it's actually a community event now. And it's not just ONTV just collecting food. It's we're engaging our other nonprofits, our churches, our schools, and businesses that collect on our behalf. And we promote those businesses. And we get raffle drawings. They donate items. And, people start going, hey, when's the raffle coming up? Because we get some pretty amazing donations from our local businesses. And to be able to raise cash and the physical food donations for Fish to stock their shelves in the wintertime as a bridge between the holidays and the spring food drives, that's how we came to be of having it at that time in February. But it's been 11 years, and we will continue until we can continue no more. We love Fish.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was just for Fish or if it was just for the community in general, but when you were doing the donations here at the Orion Center, the food drop-offs, like people were just able to come to the back and just walk in and drop off food.
That was just the community coming together. That was the resources of, if it was during the pandemic, we're talking, So before the food drive, that was just the community coming together and all the different leaders of churches and groups and community, leaders out there saying, this is what we can do. This is what we have. This is how we can get donations. That was so organic and easily realized because we have good communication between our boards. right? The government agencies, the schools, we all get along. There's communities that don't get along. I mean, we all get along and we communicate so well with one another that when something like this happens, we can respond.
I actually called you guys
Right.
to find out where it was.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing,
Mhm.
and the group is still continuing on. It's called the COVID response team. So we're still doing it once a month. We meet up, and it was of all the professional experiences I've had over the years, that was one of the top because just everybody coming together and focused on helping those in need. It was really, really impressive. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, with streaming,
yeah,
things have gotten a little bit more tight.
complex.
Yes.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
So, like many people, I don't have normal TV anymore. I got the Amazon Fire Stick.
Your OTT, as they call it.
With
Over the top. So
Oh.
it's OTT. So you're bypassing the cable company.
Now, how would I be able to still support ONTV if I have that and watch you guys?
So that's a very, very good question. We are in a transition. All community centers like this, media centers like ours across the nation are in kind of a crossroads. We are advocates of the cable companies. We work well with our cable companies. We encourage people to sign up for cable TV. One, it helps us, but it also is a reliable source of connection.
I do
Say-
I do still have cable because we have to have internet, but
Yes, but internet does not factor into the cost that supports ONTV.
okay,
It's
that's
only
good. That's
cable-
good.
It's only cable television.
Okay.
So we have a national organization called the Alliance for Community Media, ACM. And we have lobbyists in DC and lawyers and all these things that are working on our behalf to try to preserve community television throughout the nation. And we're trying to get the definition changed of what is cable TV, because even cable TV is streamed. It really is.
Yeah.
It's internet. Now there's a box. We just call it, but it is streamed information. It's all digital. Maybe you don't have a thumb drive that you plug in the side of your TV,
Right.
or it's a Fire or something. But it is streamed. So we're trying to get the definitions changed to make sure that our right-of-ways aren't just for large corporations to make millions of dollars at no cost.
Right.
That's what we're really fighting for, to make sure that our right-of-ways are still being, respected, and our rights as citizens and owners of our public right-of-ways, that we're being compensated for their business practices on our poles.
Right.
So if you are streaming, you can see us on Roku. So we actually upgraded our
I'm
services.
actually writing this down so I know.
We are on Roku, yeah. So you can see ONTV in HD, glorious HD, streaming all 3 channels that we do, our public, our education, and government channels. And we have video on demand up on Roku too. So you can see podcasts like this. You can see sporting events, meetings, and a variety of things, graduations, TV shows, and so on that are produced here.
Gotcha.
So you can see it on Roku. We are working on Apple TV to try to get up on Apple TV, and I think Amazon Fire is coming next. That is next in line. Amazon's its own little beast in the background, and they have their own rules, and they're the big guy on the block. So we're just kind of trying to get on there. But also, you can watch us on our website. So all of our channels are streamed live on our website 24/7.
Okay.
So you can watch us just like if you were watching TV. You turn it on, and it's like appointment television. We have programming that runs at a certain time, just like regular TV. And we also have a truckload of video on demand files from meetings, games, the whole bit. Everything we produce, we have it on video on demand. But we also have a YouTube channel, which we've had for a long time. I think there's 3,000 videos up there. It really is an archive of the history of Lake Orion, of what's happened over the last 9-10 years. So,
and I actually use the YouTube videos to link. I've created a little page for this podcast, so on Facebook. So it's that, but I use the links from YouTube.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah,
so
easily done.
You guys make it so convenient. My God.
Yeah, and in the podcast too, we throw them up on SoundCloud. So, and SoundCloud then aggregates it out to, you're on Spotify.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I'm sure Joe mentioned that during the onboarding
Yeah.
class,
How
but
big is Spotify? I
that's
mean,
pretty big.
it's a beast, right?
I don't necessarily have the voice or the face for radio, but I appreciate being up there.
But it's there,
Yeah.
right? So all of our podcasts go to SoundCloud, which you can go to from our website and listen to all the different podcasts that are made. But it does aggregate out to Spotify,
Yeah.
which is then we hit
A lot of people.
tens of millions of people. It's unbelievable that a little studio here in Lake Orion, tucked away at the Orion Center, and your podcast can be heard across the planet.
That's nuts.
And how much does it cost?
Well, it didn't cost me anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Well,
it's your
I got to
free
beg people to get on here, but other than that,
I was pretty easy.
yeah, it only took flowers, chocolate,
Yeah.
some bath products.
That's funny. But yeah, it's amazing. And mind if I share a quick story?
Absolutely,
So
please.
here's a little impact story that just it makes us happy. Like Joe sometimes and I sit at the end of the week, and we kind of review what happened, what kind of shows, and it's one time we sat down and we're like, can you believe what just happened this week? One, we had a lot of shows in the studio. This was a couple years ago before the pandemic, but there was a show produced here. It was faith-based, and it turned out that I think they've been a series for a number of months. And so we've had, I think there were 6 or 7 episodes up and playing. And we have on YouTube and so on. Well, somebody saw us in Africa, right? How we don't know. He came across it, and he was a faith-based minister and someone, looking to share his, life experiences and that sort of thing. And he came across the video and he loved it. He liked it so much that he got a hold of the host and said, I want to be on your show. And we're like, really? And we got all excited. We're like, nah, we've heard that before, right? But from Africa. Now, the fella made it over. He says, I'm coming to New York, state here in a couple months, and I can make that drive. And so, long story short, this fella saw our show, or saw show shot in our studio here in little old Lake Orion, in a public access studio, was inspired to come all this way to be on the show to talk with the host because her message was so inspiring.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's
right.
And it all happened, and it's there.
It happened, and Joe and I started going. When we started this, we're like, hey, if we can get the village council meeting up in 24 hours, doing good, or hey, we got the shot of the game-winning shot at the basketball game. Like, yeah. And now we have people's lives being impacted and meeting together and sharing their ideas across borders, across the globe. And it's still hard for me to believe that actually happened, because that is the power of this.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? And the words we share, our ideas and things, and these little microphones can really change people's perspectives. It can inspire people, and hopefully promote change or encourage people to help others. So that's the power of media, and ONTV and the staff here at ONTV are so happy and privileged to be able to do this on a daily basis. So
if we want to donate to ONTV, we can also do that as a way to support
We're
you.
a charity. We're a 501c3 charitable organization, so you can donate if you would like. The main thing, we're well funded currently through the cable funds and like we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
But the AT&T is kind of going away. It's going slowly smaller and smaller. But the good thing here in Lake Orion is people are jumping from AT&T over to Comcast. So our numbers are doing this sort of thing for our funding. We have contingency plans. We have savings accounts. The commission has done a fabulous job of planning for our future in case something happened to our funding. The one thing we are doing is, yes, we do take donations if you'd like to donate. We do some for-pay productions. We're getting into that. now.
What are some of those things?
So graduations, I still have a good relationship with Waterford schools, so we go and assist them with their graduation ceremonies. They have 3 high schools over there, 2 Class A schools or large Division 1 schools. So go over there where they graduate usually at OU. So we go and help them with their graduation ceremonies.
Okay.
We're working with other nonprofits on virtual conferences. That's one, the Master Gardeners Association of Oakland County. We're working with them currently. And so we're doing those sorts of things. But we also sell underwriting and advertising. So businesses, if you'd like to underwrite with us and advertise on ONTV, we'll work with you. We're reasonable, and the money's going for a good cause for our community. It comes right back to the community. And a lot of businesses that underwrite with us, we promote them all year round anyway because we're friends now. We become have good relationships with our business partners, and as you saw with like the DDA, we were working with the DDA.
hmm
And the videos and different things we put together to help promote businesses.
Right.
For us, everything is about local. How can we help a business that might be struggling? How can we promote you guys? And so, that's how we do it. If you really want to support us, go sign up for Comcast Cable or AT&T Uverse and that sort of thing. That would help us the most because that's an ongoing deal.
I do think we have a bundle because that was the cheaper. And with the bundle, you have the phone, cable, and
Usually the trifecta:
yeah,
phone, internet, and cable television, and we only get the
The cable.
5% from the cable portion.
gotcha.
So
Well, I'll stop arguing with them about that one.
yeah, and we're not telling people to sign. We encourage people to sign up for Comcast. They are a good partner of ours, obviously, and we've always had good relations. I know the public has to deal with a different side of Comcast than we do,
Mhm.
but all the people behind the scenes, technicians, their government liaisons, we always have a really good relationship with them, and business partners really with Comcast. It's been a good relationship. So
Good.
yeah.
Good. All right. So at this point in the podcast, I ask you 3 random questions.
Uh-oh.
And as a thank you for being a
I
good
didn't even
sport.
study.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, just go back to your college days. As a
Right.
thank you for participating in the 3 random ones, you can pick one to ask me.
Oh
So,
boy.
Pick 3 numbers 1 through 12.
1 through 12. 3, 10, and how about I'm making you dig through that.
Well, they're in order this time.
Okay,
so.
good. How about 6?
Okay. And then one more for me.
2. Did I pick 2 already? No,
Nope.
I picked 3. Okay.
There you go. Okay, so I'll ask you 2 questions, then you can ask me that one, and then we'll finish with your third.
All right, cool. Should I be nervous? I feel nervous.
Yes.
I'm shaking a little bit.
So, first question, Mr. Locke.
Yes.
What would you be doing if you weren't working in your current occupation?
Ooh, good question. Wow.
I don't know. You picked it.
I'd probably be teaching.
Teaching?
Yes.
Communications?
Yes, media literacy. Yeah, I'd be teaching media literacy. It's so important that kids understand how to watch television and consume media, especially today.
Yes.
How you can spot information that was created by people in their basements as opposed to official sources of information,
Yes, that's pretty
and
important.
and the messages that they are trying to sell you or show you. It's important to be able to, if you understand how to make media, you can understand the messages that are being shown to you. Yeah, I'd be teaching.
All right. Question number 2. What made your week last week?
What made my week? That's a good question. What made my week last week was we had a truckload of productions in the studio. During the pandemic, everything shut down here at ONTV, and we were worried about getting people back online and our regular producers in to do shows and things. And last week, I think we were booked with podcasts and TV shows, and there's a newscast recorded. It was games and the meetings. I mean, it was a full week, just like nothing happened. It was fantastic.
Normalcy. Every time you get a little taste of it,
Oh,
it's like, oh, this is
yes.
what it used to be.
It's such a sweet little tantalizing piece of calm. We were so busy, and it's weird to say that. Yeah, we were so busy, but we're like, we were so busy. It was fantastic,
Mhm.
right? So it was great.
All right. I'm going to,
Okay, let's see. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I got to put these cards in different piles and have one that are specifically for me to answer. So I have a fun, witty answer for those questions.
That's a tough question for
It
anyone.
is. Well, see, the problem is I remember having to answer this question when I was in corporate America. And prior to that, I worked as an attorney. Then I went internal consultant for a healthcare corporation. That's where my boss was like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
Hmm.
I'm like,
I know.
a year ago I was practicing law. Now I'm doing this. So it was a Catholic corporation. So I said, I gave it some thought. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna learn Italian, and I'm gonna get up the ranks. And I'm doing this deadpan in a meeting, and I'm going to, become the liaison to the Pope for this company. And I think, that's maybe 10-year plan. So my 5-year, 10-year plan now, after doing all of that, now I own a shop and I'm on the Village Cup. I don't know.
It's hard to even say, what am I going to do next week?
Right.
Right?
So I guess in 5 years, yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, that is a difficult question because you never know, which way life will jog or
Right.
whatever, right? I know when I came here, I didn't see myself at a community access center at that point in my career,
Mhm.
but it ultimately worked out so well. It was a blessing. I lost a job, I was laid off, Great Recession, that sort of thing, and it worked out so well. And I'm having more fun. I mean, Joe and I talk about this. We're doing our hobby for a job.
Mhm.
We're lucky enough to do that.
Yep.
But totally lucky.
I was told at a young age, do what you love, and it's never like you're going to work.
Well, it feels like work sometimes.
Well, I was going to say that's the Disney version of that
Yeah.
advice.
But just like this, you and I talking, getting to
Mhm.
know each other, having a fun conversation about a variety of things. This is my job. This is work. How crazy is that? I'll take that all day. So it's this is the fun stuff.
All right. So last random question.
Sure.
What is your favorite food?
Ooh, good question. Well, I am an omnivore. I eat everything. Ooh, that's tough.
Okay, top like
Well, I like to say
5.
I like to cook,
Okay, good.
right? So I like to try new things. And currently, I think my favorite food is chicken marsala, which I make from scratch, which is fantastic. And I'm getting so good that I don't measure things anymore. I don't tell my wife that. But I can make it and she loves it and the kids dig it. So I can't go wrong, right? But if I was going to go top 2, I love hummus. I got into hummus over the eating hummus, chickpeas and stuff like that over the pandemic. Like why? I don't know. It's fiber
It's
and
good.
whatever. And I'm like, I always thought it was just like, ew, man, that is nasty looking. But I got into it. I really like it. And now I'm making my own. So I got my blender. I'm experimenting now to make my own. So I think those are my 1 and 1A
All
2
right.
things right now.
All right. Well, now we know that you are a chef.
Oh no.
A chef at home.
Amateur. Total amateur.
Anything else you'd like us to know?
Oh, I don't know. I just want to thank you for taking a chance on us, right? On ONTV. a lot of people see us and are curious, but they don't take that chance. They don't take that leap. And everybody here at ONTV is we like to have fun, right? We're good natured, and as you can see, we like to have a good time. And this is supposed to be fun. And so I just want to thank you for giving us a chance and coming in and doing this and taking and working with us and being a part of the ONTV family.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of fun doing these interviews, and I continue. I plan on. I have 15 other people in my head, and most of you know who you are. But no, I felt more like a part of the community because of you guys. When I opened up the shop, you guys were out there filming, and I just local communication, local news is so important, and I spent a lot of time not realizing how important it was when I was commuting hours a day.
Absolutely.
And but now I see how vital, and I'm mea culpaing right now, and that's my Latin.
Very good.
But thank you guys so much for being so supportive, and so you're just a staple here in the community.
Yep. And we just want to get the word out that we're here. There's people who've lived here for 30 plus years don't even know we exist. So we're here. Give us a try.
And it's really easy.
Just stop in. Give us a call. We'll give you a tour.
Yeah.
And no tax dollars involved, right? So we get that a lot. Big question. But yeah, I thank you so much. Your show was the #1 listened to podcast last week. Did you know that?
That made my week.
That was we were looking at putting a top 10 for the month, and you are at the top of the charts right now.
Well,
I know.
My ego just grew a little bit. Thank you. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Ian, for being on today.
Anytime.
And we will see you guys about town.